Buongiorno e benvenuti. My name is Giovanna and I welcome you to my kitchen on the cliff. Today we're going to make a dish which is a quintessentially Sicilian specialty, Caponata. Everybody's heard of Caponata, everybody loves it, and it's really easy to make, and I will show you so that you could make it any time. I would describe it more as a relish than a vegetable dish, but of course it can be used to accompany meat, to accompany fish, on top of a hamburger, on a hot dog. It's very, very versatile and very delicious. The ingredients are eggplant, peppers. I like red peppers because it adds color, but you can use any color. Celery, onions, just a touch of vinegar, and capers. These are capers from Sicily. When you buy capers, you must buy capers and salt, because if you buy capers either in vinegar or in brine, they will affect the taste of your dish. Italians don't use capers in brine or in vinegar. We use capers packed in salt. And what you do is you rinse them to get rid of the salt, and you use them in any recipe. What makes this very special is the fact that each ingredient is cooked separately, and that's very important, because if you were to take chopped eggplant, chopped peppers, chopped onion, and chopped celery and put it all into one pan, you would have a stew. Now, a stew is fine, it's delicious, but Caponata is not a stew. You want to have the flavor and the texture of each ingredient, and you want it to be recognizable. We start by chopping all the ingredients. We cut off the stem ending of the eggplant. We're not going to skin the eggplant. There's no reason to. The skin is edible and it adds color and texture. I'm cutting a slice off the eggplant so that we have a flat side. Flat side down is the safest way to cut vegetables. We're going to slice the eggplant quite thick because we want it to be cute. And now we're going to cut the long way. If your board is moving, like mine, there's a very simple solution. You take a paper towel, you wet it, you put it on the table, you put the cutting board on top, and that will not move again. We're going to cut the peppers in the same way. First in half, then we take the core away. Now, I said that we were going to cook every ingredient separately, with one exception. We're going to cook the onion and the celery together because the onion will cook through and the celery will stay a little bit crunchy, which is what we want. Okay, I'm quartering the onion. Now that the onions have been skinned and quartered, I'm going to rinse them. Here's the celery, and now I'm going to chop the onion, and I'm just going to do it my way. This is the way I was taught to chop. Anyway, I find that I can do it faster than even on a chopping board. Now that all the vegetables have been chopped, we'll fry them in olive oil at the stove. We're going to start by heating the oil. Eggplant uses up a lot of oil, soaks it up. We're going to need a half a cup of olive oil. I'm going to put in about a quarter of a cup now, and then I'll add some a little bit later. We're heating up the olive oil on a fairly high heat, but as soon as the olive oil is quite hot, we're going to lower it. Now, we use all our senses when we cook, so right now we're going to hear the sizzle. I'm adding some salt, I'm lowering the heat, and we stir. You see, it didn't take long to absorb that olive oil, so we're going to add the other quarter cup. You watch the eggplant as it cooks, and you will see that the pieces will go from white to translucent. This is cooked, this is not cooked yet, and that's why we keep stirring. Once the eggplant is cooked and you smell it, and it smells wonderful, we're going to put this pan on the back burner without heat. And we're going to take a second pan, put it in the front burner, cover the bottom with oil. The next thing we're going to cook are the peppers. And peppers will not absorb oil the way eggplant does, so you don't need as much. The oil is sizzling, and we add the peppers. The peppers are done, so now we add them to the back burner. We add another 1/4 cup of olive oil, and we add the onions and the celery. Add a pinch of salt and stir. So each vegetable individually cooks for about 20 to 30 minutes, and you will see when it's done. The eggplant will go from white to translucent. The peppers will become less firm and slightly charred. The onions will also become translucent, while the celery remains a little crunchy. The last batch of vegetables is done. We're going to set this aside and put the original pan back on the front burner. Then we add our onion and celery to the pan. So look at this wealth of color and textures. Now we do the finishing, and that is the addition of the capers. And now we're going to add my secret ingredient. Please don't send the Caponata police after me. Do we all know what tomato ketchup is made of? It's made of tomatoes, spices, vinegar, and sugar. Guess what we need for Caponata? Any good cook is going to take advantage of something that will improve the flavor of something or that will take less time. We're going to add about 1/4 cup of ketchup, 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. We're going to give it a good stir. I'm going to let it cook 5 minutes so that the flavors blend. It'll taste marvelous. This is a favorite Sicilian dish, caponata, sometimes called caponatina. This of course has to be refrigerated because it hasn't been preserved in any way. Now, this very platter can be served with slices of good Italian bread, and you make bruschetta, you make it yourself. You take a spoonful of that on a piece of bread and it's absolutely delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will share it with your friends, and I hope that you will subscribe. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Arrivederci, alla prossima volta. Ciao!